Fallen Comrades is the 7th episode of Beast Wars, airing September 30th, 1996. In it, a stasis pod falls to the not Earth, and it's a big race to get him. Shenanigans ensue. This is our first time we see a map of totally not Earth, and the stasis pod landed in totally not Eastern Europe. There's actually a really smart move by the Predacons taking out Primal, because he's the only flyer of the Maximals, when the Predacons have two, and one of them can apparently survive being crushed by a rock comically. We see the stasis pod open, and this is the first time we actually see a protoform, kind of. We see a wireframe of what's going on inside a CR chamber. I think this is the first time Dinobot calls Rat Trap Vermin, which by the end of the show will be what he thinks his name is. Primal says that the pod landed 100 clicks north. A click is roughly a kilometer, and for Americans that's roughly a mile. And the dark side is about 120 clicks away. I know in the opening it shows they're kind of close, but that means they're roughly either comically close to each other or a fair bit distant, but I would have assumed more apart. You can apparently talk to people in the CR chamber via holographic projection like their Zordon. Dinobot has to hold down the base as everyone goes to the pod, so of course the rest of the Predacons attack at this moment. But Megatron actually does what Megatron in Beast Wars does best and tries to convince them and hand over the ship. But Dinobot refuses because his warrior code gives him more respect to Primal than Megatron. Either way, the Predacons make it to the pod first, and Megatron somehow got there very quickly, and he threatens some white tigers until the Maximals give up the pod. They do it, and they open the pod just for the protoform to be missing. Because they already awoken, and this is Tigertron, our newest Maximal, played by Blue Mancuman.
Tigertron, Maximal!
And apparently, he's so strong he can one-shot Megatron. And you can kind of tell from his design and his transformation style, and even his gun, that he's basically a slight redesign of Cheetor, with a new face and a tiger head. But originally, this wasn't always the case. Originally, he was going to be the toy Wolffang. But Mainframe doesn't have the biggest budget in the world, so they went with just a redesign of Cheetor. But then they also realized half the cast is either brown or tan, so then they went with a white tiger with metallic mint accents. And you can definitely still see the wolf influence on him, because he still is an ally of the Maximals, but he chooses to live by himself, alone with the rest of the Tiger Pack. This is the best episode of Beast Wars so far. Everyone acts completely logically. Dinobot has already grown as a character and becomes more of a team player, expecting a Predacon ambush and is being right about it, and refusing Megatron's offer to rejoin the Predacons and be his second in command, because the Maximals have proven their respect more than Megatron has ever done. But even then, we still see some Predacons being friendly, with Pterosaur actually helping Waspinator get back to base when he's crushed. Later in the series, he'll never get that kind of respect. Of course, this is the first of many, but not as many as you would think, episodes where the stasis pods land on Earth, and it becomes a mad race to see who can get the new recruit. And honestly, Tigertron is one of my favorite Maximals. If it wasn't for Dinobot, he probably would be my favorite. I just really like his loner character, and his design's simple, but I like it. The colors really look nice. This is the first Beast Wars episode of many that I give a 10 out of 10.
That was some cold egg.